Now, in this third and final part of our series on disability, I get to explain why disabled people is a better term than people with disabilities, and to tell you all about the medical and social models of disability and why the social model is better. The term disabled people is better because it shifts disability from being a noun, something that someone has, as in a person with a disability, to being a verb, something that's done to someone, as in a disabled person. And it's useful because it then invites the question, who disabled them? So the dominant way of thinking about disabled people since the 1800s onwards has been the medical model. And this model became dominant as the medical profession became dominant. And here are how the terms impairment and disability are defined under the medical model. So impairment is any loss of or abnormality of psychological, physiological, anatomical structure or function. And disability is any restriction or lack resulting from an impairment or of ability to perform an activity in the manner or within the range considered normal for a human being. Now, this locates the problem with the individual, and it gives rise to a cure or care response. If a disabled person can't be cured by medical intervention, then they need to be cared for through welfare provision. And under the medical model, the power to define disability is mostly, actually, always held by the medical professionals, and is out of the control of disabled people themselves. Now, the social model, well, this has been brought in as an alternative to the medical model, and this one has come from academics and activists from the disability movement. Under the social model, the definition of impairment remains the same, but the definition of disability changes. So impairment is still described in that same way as under the medical model. But now, disability becomes redefined as the loss or limitation of opportunities to take part in the normal life of the community on an equal level with others due to physical and social barriers. So this gives rise to a social action approach to disability, where the solution to disability is the removal of those physical and social barriers. So rather than attempting to cure the person or rehabilitate them so that they can adapt to that environment that's hostile to them, the focus on changing that environment is central to the social model. You focus on that environment and change that environment. It's the environment that's hostile, so you've got to make it less hostile. So here's a full definition of the social model. The present forms of architectural structures and social institutions exist because statutes, ordinances, and codes either required or permitted them to be constructed in that manner. And these public policies imply values, expectations, and assumptions about the physical and behavioral attributes that people ought to possess in order to survive or to participate in community life. It's society that disables physically disabled people. Disability is something imposed on top of our impairments by the way we're unnecessarily isolated and excluded from full participation in society. So disability doesn't arise in individuals, but in the barriers society erects. Disability is about social exclusion and social oppression. And here, you don't need to understand medical diagnostic practice in terms of accurately defining what is biologically wrong with a person. You need an understanding of how social power functions to construct the world in a way that excludes disabled people. So it's not impairment that causes disability, but a lack of access to buildings, to transport, to employment, to education, and so on, that leads to people becoming disabled. They're disabled by a social environment that doesn't accommodate for their impairments. And they're disabled by the views of society that sees them as having less value than others, or by a society that imposes limitations on them through assumptions about what they can and can't do and what they should and shouldn't do. And the social model asks us to change the place, not the person. Now think about how these different models, the medical model and the social model, would impact on you, say if you're a psychologist and you're assessing a disabled client. A medical model approach would lead you to ask your client something like, what complaint causes you difficulty in holding, gripping, or turning things? If you were guided by a social model approach, you would instead ask, what defects in the design of everyday equipment, like jars, bottles, and lids, cause you difficulty in holding, gripping, or turning them? So initially, it's a bit of a strange question because we aren't used to questions like that, but it's a question that can be really liberating for a disabled person because it starts with the assumption that they're not the problem. Here's another question, just to show you how this works. So under a medical model, a clinician might say something like, does your disability affect your work in any way at present? And the social model would instead ask, do you have problems at work as a result of the physical environment or the attitudes of your co-workers? So again, you're repositioning the locus of the problem. Now, imagine you see a friend or a member of your family, they're upset, and you ask them, what's wrong with you? That could be a really confronting question, particularly if you're the cause of them being upset. But if you're not, you're still assuming that something's wrong with them. It's like asking, why are you getting upset? Rather than, what's upset you? Do you see the difference? It's subtle, but it's an important difference. Now, there's a problem. There's a problem with the social model. And there's a clue in the quote, that definition of the social model about physically disabled. It's been developed by a small minority of younger disabled people, like male wheelchair users, people who have non-chronic, relatively stable, though perhaps severe forms of impairment. Now, the social model works for them, but works less well for other disabled people, particularly those who experience chronic pain. So to say that society is disabling you doesn't really capture your full experience of disability if you have that embodied experience of the impairment that you're living with, such as the experience of chronic pain. You're less likely to think that the social barriers are causing you the problem. You're more likely to think the thing that's causing me the problem is the fact that I'm in pain. The other problem is more generally to do with the disability movement. This movement has tended to include most impairments, except for two broad groups. It's people who have an intellectual impairment and people diagnosed with mental illness. In essence, the disability movement has for a long time been saying that we're disabled, but we're not stupid and we're not mad. And in many ways, this has been in response to the particularly stinging social stigma that those two groups carry, people with intellectual impairment and people with a diagnosis of mental illness. And they've carried that stigma for a very long time. And they've been, as such, pretty much excluded from the disability movement, or certainly marginalized in the movement. And that's why you have the psychiatric survivors movement, and I didn't mention it in our unit so far, and they don't figure in the little logos here, but there's one that's been missing, which is the People First movement, which is the social movement of people with intellectual impairment. Things are slowly changing, and the disability movement is becoming more inclusive, but it still remains a bit of a problem. Okay, so we've run out of time. It's been a long session on disability, but it gives us lots to talk about in the tutorial. Now, in the meantime, you might want to start thinking about the connections to our previous episodes. Those ones on the social self versus the individual self, and collectivism versus individualism. And see if you can make the connections, because there are connections there between that material and the social model of disability. Okay, I'll leave it there. So till next time, ta-ta.